Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at two products from Nitecore. One is a mini keychain flashlight and the other is a battery bank. So let's get right into it. All right, everybody, so we have two separate products here. One is a Tiki light. This is a tiny little keychain light. Both are from Nitecore. This guy I have been using a little bit already as the package is already open, so we'll dive into that individually. And then we have the NB20000 battery pack, which again, we're gonna dive into that separately as well. So let's start off with the flashlight first. All right, so starting off with the Nitecore Tiki lantern, as I've already said, this package is ripped open, so we might as well pull the little light out of here. Now, I did modify this slightly by adding some cordage to it. It did come with a metal keyring. I've taken that off, and we'll explain why I went with this style of cordage and this specific color. So we'll set the light off to the side, and I'll read off some of the specs on the back to you guys. All right, so reading right off the back of the package, I'm going to read some specs and some instructions to you guys because there is no booklet to this, so I may have to pull up some additional information off of my phone from their website, but let's just start with this. So when the light is off, double press the power button to access ultra low of the primary white light. So the primary light would be the forward facing light, like a typical flashlight. And off, when the light is on, long press the power button to turn it off. So if we double tap, it then turns on its lowest stage, and then if we hold it, it turns off. Very simple operation there. The brightness levels, when the light is on, short press the power button to cycle through ultra low to medium to then high. Direct access to high, when the light is off, press and hold the power button to access high of the primary white light. So if we hold to press on, it will go directly to ultra. So that's the highest mode right there. Pretty bright. And then to access the light on, so it's on right now, and then single press, we can cycle through the power states and then long press to turn off. But then if you do want access to high right away, press and hold, comes on with a momentary switch. Pretty simple interface there. Auxiliary lights, when the light is off, triple press the power button to turn on the UV light. So there is a UV light embedded in there. And when that is on, short press the power button again to cycle through to the aux white constant on. And then you can then switch into a UV long press going back and back and forth. So what that means is 1, 2, 3, the UV light comes on. And then if we press it again, the lantern light comes on, and that's forward facing towards the camera. If I rotate this around to the back, you'll notice it is a clear flashlight. So it is ultimately a lantern. And then if we press it again, it goes into this flashing mode, this little strobing mode. And then press it again, it goes back into UV, press and hold, the whole light is turned off. Fairly simple interface on that guy. Now I'm going to read the max output is 300 lumens. The max distance of beam is 71 meters that it will travel on its highest setting. The waterproof rating is IP66. And the impact resistance is 1 meter, and it is charged via USB with a USB micro cable. The UV light is a 500 megawatt and a 365 nm. I'm not sure what that means, but it is max of 300 lumens, like I said, on high. So let's take a look at the light very close in detail. All right, so having a look at the Nitecore Tiki. On the side, you can see we've got some Nitecore branding. Coming over to that power switch, it is rubberized right down here, very small switch. We then have that lanyard hole up top where I've attached some 1.5 millimeter paracord in a neon color, and that corresponds with the UV light. You'll see a little bit more of that once I do my dark test, once we shut all the lights off. Spinning it all the way around, we then have a little rubber door up here for the USB micro port, and that is how you charge the light. And then spinning it all the way around, give you guys a little bit of a 360 there. Show you guys the actual light element, one LED in there. Pretty decent looking product. Okay, so after having a look at the light and going through a little bit of the literature on the package, I have the current listing pulled up on Amazon right now, and it is coming in at $34.50 Canadian. And I'm just going to scroll down and read some of the specs to you guys, and I'll put some of this up on the screen so you can pause and follow along as well if you wish. I'm just going to look for the more standout kind of features for me. So the color temperature of the auxiliary light is 4500 Kelvin. So it is a warm light. Certainly, it's not a bright white. That's the auxiliary light. So that's the little lantern light. That's not the forward-facing Kelvin. And it doesn't show me the Kelvin for the forward-facing light, unfortunately, but it is more of a white. I want to say it's probably more like a 6,000 Kelvin. So moving down here, it does have a built-in lithium-ion rechargeable battery. And just coming down here. Okay, so this is important right here. So brightness, output, and runtime. This is definitely going to be up on the screen. You guys might want to pause and have a look at this as I read through. So high is 300 lumens. It will run for 30 minutes and it will travel a distance of 71 meters. Medium or mid power is 60 lumens. It'll run for 1 hour and has a distance of 31 meters. And low is 15 lumens, 4 hours at 15 lumens, or 15 meters of distance, sorry. Ultra low is 1 lumen at 40 hours, and it'll travel 4 meters. UV is 500 MW, I'm assuming that's megawatts. I have no idea, but 500 of those. It'll run for 45 minutes, and it doesn't have a travel distance. The auxiliary white constant on is 22 lumens, and it has a runtime of 1 hour, and it will go, or sorry, 1 hour and 30 minutes, so it doesn't show a throw distance for that. And the auxiliary white warning flash, so that flashing is 22 lumens, and that will flash for 20 hours non-stop. The dimensions of the flashlight are 2.16 inches, the head size is 0.57 inches, and the weight is 0.42 ounces. Very small and very light, as you guys can see right here. This thing seems to be a powerhouse of more geared towards ultralight hikers and EDC items to keep this on your keychain, keep it kind of in the truck, wherever you're going, keep it in your pocket. I've attached this little paracord on here, so I have a couple options here. The reason why I went with neon is because it has a UV light built into it, so that actually glows. So if I do happen to drop it, that stands out in the snow as well, and I can replace it with a zipper pull on my jacket. So if I want the actual flashlight to be literally the zipper pull, it can work as that as well. And it seems to be rather waterproofed, so quite a compact little unit. I think now we'll get these lights turned off and we'll go into a light show to show you guys how bright it is. All right, so I'm gonna go through all the power settings and I'll voice what I'm doing while I'm doing this, just in case you guys cannot physically see me. But I do have to turn off all of these lights one at a time. So I'm gonna start with these string lights, get those shut off, reach up here, get those shut off. And I will mention I am on an ultra wide angle lens right now, so you should be able to see the throw of the light all around my mini home here. So we'll shut that off, we'll shut that off. And we'll just go ahead and power off this battery unit. And all right, so now we're pitch dark. So double tap. This is on the lowest, if you guys can make out my face right here. This is on the lowest lumen. One more press, we go up one more stop. Another press, we go up another stop. And then one more press, that's the brightest that it can go. So you guys can probably get an idea. It's looking like it is a very, very bright light. And I'll shine it over here this time and I'll step back down. So that's the very lowest. Stepping up one power, stepping up another power, stepping up to its fullest power. So you guys can get a look at that. That's pointing straight down. That is the focused beam. Now I'm going to go out of that mode and I'm going to go into the UV mode. So double tap and, or sorry, shut that off. 1, 2, 3. Triple tap. So now we are on UV mode, and you guys can probably make out this green string. Hopefully that picks up on camera. That is glowing like crazy right now. There might be other various items. I got it pointed at my face right now, so if you guys can see my face in there, that is the UV light. And I'm just going to rotate around and kind of move around, and maybe some things will pick up on camera, maybe not. It is very dark in here. So now I'm going to single click out of that, going into lantern mode. So right now, I'm just going to hold it up by the string, and I'm going to spin it 360 degrees, going back the opposite direction now, so you guys can see the throw of that. If I place it way back here, pointed towards the rear of the tiny home, I'm just going to rotate towards the camera now, and then right towards me. So that is in lantern mode. And then, if I do one more click, it'll go into this strobing mode, and it'll do that for quite a long time. And then one more click back into the UV, hold off, and then hold on for the momentary. That is the strongest mode right there, holding the momentary button. And if I let go, it goes off. All right, so let's get some of these lights turned back on because it is very dark in here. And we'll get some of these fired back up here. I got a lot of lights in here, guys. Whole bunch of different switches and toggles all over the place. If you guys are interested in this bus build, you gotta turn that light on. If you guys are interested in anything inside of the bus, let me know. It may be a topic for a future video, but for now, focusing back on Nitecore. So that is the Nitecore Tiki light, very small. What do you guys think of this product? Let me know in the comment section. Do you think it's a good product? Do you think it's a bad product? What would you do to change it? I have noticed on Amazon when I was just going through the listing, it looks like they have 3 different versions of this. This one is the clear version, and it looks like they have different colored versions, and the internal lights are different color of lights. Some of them don't have it, some of them do. So there's all kinds of versions of this, it seems, but mine is the clear, and yeah, that's the Tiki. So let's move into the next product from Nitecore. This is the NB20000 battery bank. Let's have a closer look. All right, so coming into the Nitecore NB20000 battery unit. This is a flip open case. You guys can see a little brief picture there. This is the actual battery unit here. It has this carbon fiber look to it, and it looks pretty interesting. Coming over to the back side, a little bit of specifications. Let me get this out of the package and start with the review. All right, so pulling the battery unit out of the package, slide that out. It's got a nice little tray slide there, and might as well just pull everything out. So we got the actual battery unit itself, which is pretty interesting. Very attractive carbon fiber look to it. Fairly slimline design, does have some weight to it, but we'll cover all that in the specs. Lay that down. Underneath we do have a little bit of literature, some instructions. We then also have a supplied USB to USB-C cable, so it charges via USB-C. I believe there is a couple of options, so it does just input with USB-C, so that's the only method of charging it. And then we've got the tray. So let me read off some of the stuff that they have here on the packaging. It is an ultra lightweight energy brick, 20,000 milliamp hours. The weight is 324.5 grams, which is 11.45 ounces, and it is IPX5 rated for waterproofness. Coming over to the back side, the capacity, obviously we've already mentioned, is 20,000 milliamp hours, 3.85 volts, 77 watt hours. Rated energy is 13,500 milliamp hours, 5 watt, type 2A. This is very small print to try and read here. So the input on USB-C, the input range is from 5 volt to 2.4 amp to 9 volt to 2 amp or 12 volt to 1.5 amp. The USB-C in, so there are 2 inputs, and I'll show that in closer detail. That operates at 5 volt 2.4 amps, 9 volt 3 amps, 12 volt 2.5 amp, 15 volt 2 amp, or 20 volt at 1.5 amp. Now the output, we have three sources of outputs on this. So looking, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 total of ports. 3 of those are output, and a couple of them are in and out. So the USB-C output is 5 volt 2.4 amp, 9 volt 3 amp, 12 volt 3 amp, 15 volt 3 amp, 20 volt 2.5 amp. The USB-A output, so there's an out 2 and an out 3. There's a 5 volt 2.1 amp, or 2.4 amp, 9 volt 2 amp, 12 volt 1.5 amp, and multi-ports are 5 volt 3 amp max. So that's a lot of boring stuff, I'm sure, for you guys. Go back and read if that is any importance to you guys. Basically, plug and play. If you need to charge your devices, plug it in, charge your devices. That's as simple as it gets. So looking at the battery unit, it is basically a brick as they state. An energy brick is literally what the box says. So very nice carbon fiber look. I'll bring you guys in for a really close up look at this, and then we'll charge up some devices and power up some things and see how it performs. All right, so coming in for a close look at these ports, you'll notice that there are 1 USB, 2 USB, and then down on the very bottom there's USB-C. Some of those are in and outputs. We then have a button here. With a single press, it'll light up all the blue dots showing me that it's fully charged. That's how you turn the battery bank on and off to output as well. Moving the battery unit around in the light, you guys can pick out that carbon fiber pattern. It is a pretty attractive pattern, I must say, and that is on both sides, giving this kind of a sleek design look to it. Carbon fiber is always nice. All right, so quite a bit of specs there, having a good look at the battery unit. So let's power something up with it. Here I've got my cell phone, and this is going to be pretty basic and straightforward, guys, but we're going to do it anyway. So I've got my cell phone. I'm going to plug into one of the out ports. So in closer detail here, let me read this off to you now that I've got some light. So a USB out and a USB out. So both of those are number 2 and number 3. Number 1 output is a USB-C. It is a in or out. And then another USB-C is just for input, so charging it up. I've got this plugged into a regular USB. I can then plug it into my phone, and we are on, we are charging, and we're actually fast charging, so that's working pretty good. I then have a USB light bulb. So this is something that I take out camping with me pretty much all the time. They're very, very light. And maybe I'll do an episode on lights specifically, but for today, let's just plug something in here. So we're still fast charging on the phone. It did not change, so that's good. Our light bulb comes on, so we've got some light there. And we can even charge our Nitecore Tiki light. So we'll grab a proper cable that I've got stored up here. And I'm interested to see what happens with the output of that light to see if it changes. And you know what? We can't do it. I don't have a USB-C to USB-C cable, so I lied. We're not going to do that. But for now, you guys can see we've got the phone plugged in, we've got the light on. Pretty basic, guys. It's a battery bank. I will say though, it is small in size. So my current phone right now is a Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus. And for size comparison, laying them down, you can see my phone is a little bit taller. And looking at the thickness there, just kind of giving an all-around look right there. This is much smaller than the regular battery bank that I have been using in many of my camping videos on Lone Wolf 902 YouTube channel. So that is the Nitecore battery bank. What do you guys think of this product? Let me know down in the comment section for both products, the Tiki light and the battery bank, both coming from Nitecore. Let me know what you guys think. Good product, bad product? What are some things that strike you as strange, or maybe some things that you would like to suggest to fix the product or make it a little bit better? What do you guys think? That is basically all I've got for you today. Thank you very much for watching. Drop your comments and questions down in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out, guys.